The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your commander-in-chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. So, OTAs Phase 1 is officially in the books. I'm so excited, man. It's just good to see the fellas back in the facility, back with smiles on their faces, back talking about this team. Last year was one of the most exhilarating seasons I've ever experienced as a fan. And I think I can speak for most of you. I know I don't like doing this. Most of you of a certain age, probably, let's say 35, let's say just say 40 and under. 40 and under. That was probably the most exhilarating season you've ever experienced in your life. So what are they going to do for an encore? I'm so excited to see what this upcoming season looks like. And we'll talk more about the off season that was, because in my mind, now that we've hit OTAs officially and Phase 1 is now in the rear view mirror, we are pretty much done with the off season in terms of transactions, right? The transactional period of the off season. There may be one or two more moves that are made, like we saw them swap out kickers here recently. And so, you know, I think that's the last thing that we're going to see until Terry gets his extension. And that's in, I think my wife literally asked me this morning, she said, when is Terry getting his extension? And without hesitation, I said July. And I've been telling anybody that will listen that Terry's extension is coming in July. That's deadline spur action. And it feels like he's already been told, we're going to take care of you. He showed up to OTAs, and not that Terry's a player that would, you know, voice his displeasure with the situation by not showing up, because even when he wanted a contract the last time, he showed up to everything. But remember when we got to, I want to say, training camp, it was early in training camp, I believe. Or it was late in the final phase of OTAs, Phase 3, that he sat out of some things. I think it might have been OTAs. I don't think that thing leaked into training camp. But I know it didn't leak into training camp. It had to be like Phase 3 of OTAs, where he basically showed up but didn't participate. Like, it was almost like a sit-in. You know, it's not a holdout. It was like a sit-in, and or a hold-in is what they called it, not a sit-in. Lord have mercy. I'm taking us back to the 60s. It was a hold-in. And he finally got his bread, right? I think they sat him down, and this is what transparency looks like, because the whole problem with the Cincinnati Bengals situation with Trey Hendrickson is that there's just been no communication. He's like, if they would have just told me, hey, we want to take care of the wide receivers first, and we got you in the queue, don't worry, we're going to take care of you, I wouldn't be tripping. But they ain't said anything, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm just kind of here in the dark, and I'm like, look, I don't want to play for this little bit of money that you guys got me on this last year of my deal. And I know in Denver, Cortland Sutton has been told by the Broncos brass, hey, we're going to take care of you. So he showed up to OTAs. And I think Terry has had the same reassurance from this group. Hey, we're going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. But I think it's going to take place in July. And I've been saying that all off season. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they get it done next week. But the likelihood is it'll happen in July, before the start of training camp. I think that's what more likely take place. But speaking of which, the first phase of the OTAs are done, and I was going through some of the pictures and looking at some of the things that they were doing, and being that it's now behind us, what's next? So I wanted to go over the OTA schedule with you briefly, and also go over, for those of you who aren't aware, what each phase entails, right? So these are some dates to remember. We just went through, so the first day, so I don't know if you were following the Commanders X account, and they might have been doing this on IG as well, but I know on X in particular, they were posting a picture every day until the start of OTAs. That was April the 22nd. And so phase one was from the 22nd to the 25th. Obviously, the draft kind of spilled over into, the 25th. And then it started back up on the 28th of April after the draft was completed on the 27th. And it went all the way to May 1st, which was yesterday. So it just ended. Phase one just ended. So now you get a brief break. Then phase two starts up. The players come back. The veterans all show up from the 5th to the 8th. So from Monday to Thursday. And they depart Thursday morning, and the rookies get there Thursday evening. So you go back up to the top where you see rookie minicamp, and that's from the 8th to the 11th. NFL guidelines state that you can only practice for 3 days. So technically that's 4 days, but that first day, the 8th, is just them coming, signing in, checking in, getting comfortable, with their arrangements. And then they'll be actually hitting the field technically from the 9th to the 11th, which would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then after that, you go down to phase two once again. And then the veterans join the rookies for the first time as a whole collective unit from May 12th to the 15th. And that'll be the first time that the rookies engage the vets. Then you go to May 19th through the 22nd. I believe the first time the rookies actually engage the vets is phase three. I think the rookies come for those 4 days because they're not technically under contract yet. Most of them won't be by the time the rookie mini camps hit. So they leave on the 11th. The veterans come back on the 12th through the 15th. Then it's May 19th through the 22nd. And then when phase three begins in May, on May 27th, that's when the whole entire team comes together for the first time, rookies and all. By then, you would hope that all of the contracts have been sorted out, everyone's signed, and get everybody in the building. And usually that gives the rookies an opportunity to kind of get themselves up to speed just a tad bit, because phase three, you actually hit the field. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So then you have June 2nd through the 6th. Then you have a mini camp, which is the last time the players will be together before that brief hiatus before it all kicks off in late July. So what do these phases look like since we've just completed phase one? Phase one consists of 2 weeks of the program with activities limited to meetings, strength and conditioning, and physical rehabilitation only. So they're not doing anything with a football, pretty much. A bunch of them doing things to get into cardiovascular and physical shape, which most of these guys have been doing it. This used to be really important, once upon a time when the players didn't used to work out almost year round. These guys keep themselves in tip-top shape. So when they come to these programs, they're usually already in shape. But if you're not in the best of shape, this is the time to start whipping yourself into shape. But they're not doing anything football related, actually. That doesn't start until phase two, which is what they'll be entering into next week, starting on Monday. Phase two consists of the next 3 weeks of the program. On-field workouts may include individual or group instruction and drills, as well as perfect play drills, and drills and plays with offensive players lining up across from offensive players and defensive players lining up across from defensive players, conducted at a walkthrough pace. No live contact or team offense versus team defense drills are permitted. So basically, you're getting into your groups, your positional groups, you're working there. If you want to do something walkthrough wise, you'd have to use only players on that side of the football to conduct it. There can be no offense versus defense of any kind in phase number 2. So again, the rookies don't need to be there for that, and they're not going to be really participating in that, but they are a part of phase 2 essentially, because that's right in the middle of that. Right in the middle of phase 2 are the rookie mini camps, right? Because you have the 5th through the 8th starts it off with the vets, and then the rookies come in from the 8th to the 11th. Then they get out of there, and then the vets come back from the 12th to the 15th. So they're right square in the middle of that second phase, but they don't actually come back and meet with the team, do the rookies, until phase 3, which is, it consists of the next 4 weeks of the program. Teams may conduct a total of 10 organized team practice activities, or OTAs. No live contact is permitted, but 7-on-7, 9-on-7, and 11-on-11 drills are permitted. Now, when the NFL punishes a team for some type of transgression, let's say they caught you tampering, or they said that you had some physical contact in one of these OTA sessions the year prior, this is when they usually come and dock you, because you get 10 total days of organized team practices, and they'll say, well, you got to give me 2 of those, right? I'm gonna dock you 2 because of some of the transgressions that we've found in some investigations that we've done. And so you generally try to stay clean. They always tell you stay off the ground, no contact, because you do not want to have those days taken from you, because this is a vital time where you, especially for the rookies in particular, where you get guys, because they're going to go over a lot of this stuff. They call it day 1 install. You're doing those things here. They're going to go back over those things when they get to training camp for the first day or 2. And then, you hope that they retain most of the information from phase 3 so that you can get to training camp. They'll give you a quick refresher. It should come back to you. It's like riding a bike, and now we can just jump into our stuff and really get going. So that's why it's important to try to maximize these phases, especially phase 3, which is when the team will come together for the first time as a collective unit. Hopefully all of the rookie contracts, we don't have a ton of them this year. We had a bunch of them last year. I think we had 9 guys last year who we drafted, only 5 this year. So hopefully those get done sooner rather than later. And we've started to see other teams, deals trickle in. I think the Eagles had a 5th round pick sign. Mondin Snell Jr., the linebacker out of Georgia, was the first draft pick in the entire NFL to sign his rookie deal. And then I think the Cowboys guard out of Alabama was the first round pick to sign his deal. So hopefully we'll start to see those things trickle down in a bit, and we'll get that knocked out, and those guys can be fully under contract, ready to rock and roll, and we can put all that behind us. So with that said, when I think of OTA phase 1 being done, I think about the offseason itself, the transactional period of it being done. And because it is done, I wanted to ask you guys, what are you now most excited to see with this team in the upcoming season? Obviously, they've done a lot of work. I was having a conversation with my wife this morning, and she asked me, how do you feel about the team? Because the power rankings came out, and we were 6th. That shouldn't be a surprise to any of you. We've talked about the power rankings, the way too early power rankings that came out soon as the Eagles won the Super Bowl. We were 6th. We talked about odds in Vegas. We had the 6th best odds. I think it might have been 6th or 7th, tied with Cincinnati at the time. So it's not a surprise. It shouldn't be, at least to any of you, that we're a top 7 team in the power rankings. There are expectations that are here that haven't been here since 2000. My wife asked me, she said, and she didn't ask me, she said, I'm not used to this. I said, neither am I. So we'll go through this together, right? This is uncharted territory for most of us. This is not how we're used to starting off seasons. When power rankings come out, we're used to bitching and complaining about how low they have us and how we're being disrespected and yada, yada, yada. And now we're, almost at the top of the food chain, and we're a Super Bowl contender. If you're in the top 7 of the power rankings before the season starts, you're viewed as a Super Bowl contending team, which we are, which is a little bit wild to say out loud and actually hear it. Like, my ears hear me saying it, but it's just like my brain is not receiving the information, but it's real. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the growth of, so I'll start it off and you guys can tell me what you guys are looking forward to the most now that the transactional period, to me, of the offseason is practically done. There may be 1 or 2 things that maybe are still left to transpire, like maybe signing a veteran edge, but I don't even think that takes place until a little bit further down the line if they feel the need to do something. They may feel good about the group once they get them together and they see guys out there running around. They may say, you know what? No, we're good. We don't need to sign a Von Miller or a Zadarius Smith or a Matthew Judon or any kind of veteran of any sort. But they may get to through these OTAs, get through phase 3 and say, you know what? We probably could use a Zadarius Smith, right? We'll see. Anyway, the thing I'm most looking forward to is the second year guys, the guys that were rookies last year, taking a step forward or a leap. That includes Jaden. They have strengthened the strongest part of our team, which was the offense. They took that offense and they made it stronger this year. Now, I've said this already too. In the same breath, while they've made the offense stronger, it's nowhere near the firepower that Caleb Williams has, or to a lesser degree, Bo Nix has. Like, you look at what some of these other, and we had this conversation on the Commanders Kings. Of all the rookie quarterbacks that were selected in the first round, there were 6 of them. Where does Jaden's supporting cast rank? And I think we said it was 4th, right? Only the Patriots and I think the Falcons. I think some might have had us 5th. I think we're 4th because I think the Patriots and the Falcons theirs isn't as good as ours. You could argue, there's an argument to be made about the Falcons. I think we're better than the Falcons talent-wise on offense. But the Vikings are better than us, clearly. The Bears are loaded after this draft. Are you kidding me? They are absolutely loaded. You talking about they just draft. They have DJ Moore already. They have Rome Odunze already. They drafted Luther Burden III. They already had come on, I can do it. What is the Notre Dame? Cole Kmet. Yes. They have Cole Kmet already, and they drafted Colston Loveland. Like, you can't get more loaded on the offensive side of the football than that. And they fortified the offensive line. They traded for 2 guards, and then they drafted another offensive lineman this year as well. So they are absolutely loaded. And so are the Broncos. The Broncos have done everything they can to put Bo Nix in the most comfortable position to be successful. They continue to add weapons in Denver. So they added another receiver in Pat Bryant. They added a running back in RJ Harvey. So they got all kinds of weapons, not to mention all the receivers that they already had, including Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix's teammate from Oregon that they drafted last year, and the Oklahoma receiver that they drafted a couple of years ago. So they're loaded. And they like Vele, the receiver they drafted last year as well. So they got a ton of talent. And they signed a guy that we were interested in signing if, they were looking to go that route. in Evan Ingram, right? They signed him in free agency. So the Broncos are loaded. The Bears are loaded. The Vikings have more talent. I won't say the Vikings are loaded, but they got way more talent than we do on the offensive side of football. And then I think we fall in line as fourth amongst that group. But with that said, we've upgraded the offense. We've upgraded the offense, and it's better. It's way better than it was a year ago. That's not up for discussion. This team, for that matter, is way better than it was a year ago. And, you know, there's a debate to be had about how much better. I was talking to my wife, and we were having this discussion this morning on the way to work. And she was like, "You think the team's better?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's much better." I said, offensively, it's not even close. It's night and day difference. With, you know, we overachieved last year on offense because of Jaden Daniels. That offense had no business being as proficient and at times as dominant as it was based off the talent that we put on the field last year, except for number 5. So we are way better on offense this year. As far as the offensive line is concerned, as far as the wide receiver position is concerned, and even the running back position feels like it's upgraded with the addition of Bill, right? So offense is better. Defense, TBD, right? TBD. The run defense should theoretically be better with all of the moves that they've made. You know what would be the most disappointing thing is if we got to week 6 and the first 5 weeks we had just been gutted on the ground still and we can't stop the run. The schedule will come out next week, right? I believe it's next week. What's today? The 2nd. No, the schedule comes out the following week. I think it's the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So the schedule will come out not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, right? When that thing comes out, we will see what the opponents look like out of the gates. And if we get some teams that can run the football, I actually would like it if we got some teams that could run the football early, just to test this run defense, just to see what the hell it's all about. Now, look, we don't expect this team to be playing, or at least we hope they're not playing their best football at the beginning of the season. You want them playing good football, which is what they did last year. They came out of the gates last year. And yes, the Tampa Bay game stunk. But after that, they got their shit together. And it was that early, fast start that we got off to of 7-2 that allowed us to be able to cushion the blow of 3 straight losses in the middle of the season, to then get our shit together, recalibrate, and finish up the season one of the hottest teams in the league, which ran us all the way to the NFC Championship game before we ran into the buzzsaw that was known as the Philadelphia Eagles. So you want to be playing your best football towards the end of the season. But damn it, I want to see this run defense jump right out of the gates and start shutting some shit down. Because for as much as we did to stop the run from a free agency acquisition standpoint, this run defense better be A1. We better be one of the best rush defenses in the league. I still have questions about how we're going to get to the quarterback, but I'm not as concerned as some of you are. I am concerned, though, right? There's levels to it. I am concerned, but some of you, it's a code red for you. It's not a code red for me. It's not even code orange for me, because I got to see what the run defense is, because if we can't stop the run, Lord have mercy. Forget about what they're doing from a pass rush standpoint. We could be getting gutted on the ground and through the air. So we're going to find ways to get to the quarterback. We're going to find ways to get to the quarterback. Can we stop the run? We should be able to, right? How much better is the secondary? Amos being drafted, fully healthy offseason for Marshawn Lattimore. Mikey Same is still going back inside. Remember, Mikey was struggling early in the season inside in the slot. Remember, he was struggling. Wasn't all like he got cooked in that first game. Look, it's Chris Godwin, okay? seasoned veteran that knows how to get open and get to the sticks. That was to be expected. I didn't expect him to struggle against the Giants in week 2, but he did. Okay. So we can't just think, oh, Mikey's just going to kill it in the slot because he was really good outside. I'm expecting him to. But the last time I saw Mikey inside as a nickel, he was getting cooked. So the secondary feels like it's better, but we don't know if Will Harris is going to be good. We don't know if he's going to be an upgrade over Jeremy Chin, a downgrade, or if he's just going to be meh, right? If he's just going to be no change, right? We don't know how good this defense is, if the defense is even better. On paper, it feels better. It looks better. But is it actually better? I don't know. But here's what I'm looking forward to seeing. All of the guys that were drafted last year taking a step forward. Because if they take that step, I don't want to say forget about the rookies that we just drafted, because they're going to be instrumental in helping this team have the success that we're looking for after the success we had last year. If we're looking to duplicate that success or even exceed it, we're going to need those rookies to come in here and carry their own weight. But I'm really looking at those second-year guys. Jaden Daniels, Johnny Newton, Mike Sainristil, Ben Sinnott, Brandon Coleman, Jordan McGee, to a lesser degree, right? Javonte John Baptiste and what's my guy's name that we converted from safety to linebacker? I'm actually anxious to see what he looks like. We're hearing that this dude's up to 245, which is insane if he's put on that kind of weight. Shucks. Oh, well, I'm blanking on his name. It's doing so good with the names today. Hampton. Dominique Hampton. I can't wait to see what he looks like in a linebacker body. So those second-year guys, they're going to be, to me, responsible for the leap that we're looking for. If those guys take that jump, I think the rest of the squad will do what they need to do. The veterans that are here will do what they need to do. I expect Deebo Samuel to come in here and ball. I expect Zach Ertz to give us what he gave us last year. I may not do it for 17 weeks of the regular season, but I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, that he can do it again. But when he's on the field, I expect him to be effective. I expect Austin Eckler to be effective, right? I expect the guys that have been here, done that. I expect Bobby Wagner. I expect Frankie Louvu. I expect those guys to do the things that we know they're capable of doing. I don't worry about them. I want to see these young guys who had success last year, like Mike Sainristil, like Jaden Daniels, and some of these young guys who didn't have as much success. And to a lesser degree, Brandon Coleman had success last year too. He was huge in the success of this team last year. But I want to see Luke McCaffrey. I want to see Ben Sinnott. I want to see, those guys take a massive step forward. And then for guys that played a lot, like Ben Sinnott and Johnny Newton, I want to see them, start to actually make impactful plays. The biggest play Ben Sinnott made last year was on special teams in the NFC Championship game. It's a big play. But of the 5 catches he made this past season, can you remember any of them except the touchdown against Carolina and the catch against the Eagles? Can you remember any of the other 3? I can't. I remember one in the flats. I don't even remember what team that was against. One in the left flats for like 2 yards. I don't even know who that was against. So I would love to see him be more involved. Those second-year guys taking a leap is going to be huge in determining how much success this team can have, especially Jaden, because everybody's, all the haters, right? All the teams that are upset because this man is taking the NFL by storm. He almost feels like he feels like the NFC version of Patrick Mahomes. That's what it feels like right now. He feels like the face of the NFC. Mahomes is the face of the league right now because no one else has really challenged him for that throne. Jaden's like, scoot over, make some space. And Mahomes is like, tell you what, I'll hold it down over here. If you're worthy, you can have the other side. That's what it feels like. We're going to see. Year 2 is going to be big. People are looking for the fall off. People are looking for the drop off, right? When they put you up on that pedestal, people want to see you get knocked off of it. That's what happened to CJ Stroud. They put him on that pedestal last year, and the man took his team back to the playoffs. Yes, I get it. It's a bad division. He won a bad division, but he still won a playoff game. And then you could argue that they were hosed out of the playoff game that they lost on the road to Kansas City, but that's nor here nor there. The bottom line is he did the exact same thing he did from a distance standpoint. Took his team to the playoffs, won the division, won a playoff game, and lost in the divisional round, yet everyone said he had a down step back year. Statistically, yes, that's correct. But the results were the same. At the end of the day, they want to see Jaden, fall. They want to see Jaden tumble and have a fall from grace. If he's truly like that, like we think he's like that, like we know he's like that, there is no step back. There is no fall back. It's just up. It's up and it's stuck is what it is. Up and is up and is up and is stuck. If that second year for Jaden Daniels is anything remotely close to his rookie season, and yes, teams are going to try to make adjustments. They got to make adjustments. Yes, teams will be a little bit more prepared for the no huddle. Yes, teams will be looking for certain things that worked, like that naked boot. We cannot run that naked boot on 4th down anymore. Stop that shit, please. I wanted us to stop running it before we ran it that one final time against the Lions, and the shit worked in the playoffs. Stop it. Stop it. Stop running that damn naked boot on 4th down. Okay? But if he's able to do the things that we know he's capable of doing, there's no way that this team won't be successful on offense. And if this team's successful on offense, they're going to be tough to deal with, just like they were last year. Schedule's much tougher, though. We got a target on our back now. We went from being the hunter to the hunted in most instances. The Eagles are still the Dondada. They still are the team to beat. They still got the targets on their back. But we're a thing. In case you didn't know, we're a thing. And that's going to make some people jealous. Green with envy. So I'm looking forward to seeing those second-year guys, including Jaden Daniels, and most importantly, Jaden Daniels, to take it to that next level in year number 2. Hopefully Coleman is slotted properly. Hopefully Mikey is comfortable inside. And hopefully Luke McCaffrey is able to grow in year 2, and Ben Sennett's role expands, and hopefully Jordan McGee just stays healthy, because I know what I saw last year. My eyes aren't deceiving me, right? I know what I saw when he was healthy. It's just, can he stay healthy? Hopefully this year is much different. Johnny Newton, same thing, right? Last year started off, coming off of, off-season surgery. So the whole off-season for him was a bit warped. Now, fully healthy, full off-season. Let's see what you got, big fella, because we need him to be more disruptive, right? So that's what I'm most excited and looking forward to. What says you, right? So Jeep Commander, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, PSA, everyone, hit that like button. Yes, you heard the man. Hit the like button. Thank you for that public service announcement. If you haven't already done so, there's over 400 of you out there, only 115 likes. We can do so much better, even though that's pretty close to what I like, which is 3-to-1 viewer to like ratio. If you haven't hit the like button already, please help a brother out and do so. Thank you for that public service announcement, Jeep Commander. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Even if you're live watching this right now, leave a comment in the comment section. I got a new series that I'm going to debut here shortly, and it has to do with the comment section, right? So I'm a longtime lurker, as I've told you guys numerous times. So this is an ode to me being a lurker and coming from the shadows into the light. And I want more people to venture into the light. I always tell y'all that I see everything that y'all comment. I see everything. And the lurker in me sometimes forgets to like it. Or sometimes I get too busy. If I'm sitting at the barbershop, that's usually when I'm going on my spree and I'm liking everything and I'm commenting to people and I'm responding because I got time. But when I'm not just sitting still, doing nothing, I usually got something going on and I'm not able to get to my phone and look at the comments and respond and all that stuff. You'd be amazed at how many times I started a comment, don't finish it because something happened, somebody called me, or my kid just did something, and I never get back to finishing that comment. And you know how I am about that, right? If I start something, I want to finish it. So this new series is going to really center around comments from you guys in the comment section, and I'm going to react to them. All right, it's going to be called Louie in the comments, right? So make sure, like, if I ask a question during a video like this one in particular, even though you were here for the live stream, go back and comment in the comment section after the video posts so that I can see your comment. And if yours is one of the pertinent ones, one of the ones that I feel like deserves a response, we're going to do that live, right? On the air. We're going to be together and I'm going to pull, 5 to 7, maybe 10, 15, depending on how many videos and how far back I'm going and how many comments I feel like are worthy of discourse. And we're going to talk about it because there are a lot of things that you guys have to say out there. And, and sometimes you guys have some great comments, some great posts in the comment section. And I want to make sure we bring those to light. So I was going to do it today, but I didn't have enough time to scour through everything because I got a hot date with my wife. So I got to get out of here. But I think I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to start Louie in the comments next week, or Louie in the comment section. So make sure if I ask a question, you leave a comment in the comment section after the video post. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Where you been at, Sonny? Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, my guy. Big Money Sonny. Where you been at, man? On a hiatus? Good to have you back, bruh. Lou, I'm back. Yeah. Ain't that right? I love it, man. Let me get I got 5 on it. Happy to see you, homeboy. Likewise, man. Always good to hear from you, bruh. It's been too long. It's been far too long. And that's right. I got 5 on it. You know what it is. Commandalorian. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Commandalorian writes, Lou, I love that 7th round pick. JCM, speak. We got one. We did get one. And I am going to have my my breakdown of the UDFAs on Monday night. I do not think I have anything on the calendar for Monday night. I think the Commander Kings are supposed to be linking up on Tuesday night. And I think at some point next week, the Super Friends are supposed to be linking up as well. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you abreast of all of that. As the information comes to me, I will divulge that information to you. But next week should be chock full of content, and we should be all over the place next week. But whatever the case may be, I want to make sure I get my UDFA video out before rookie minis hit. Not that that matters, but from the timing standpoint, I definitely want to get it out before the 8th, which is next Thursday when the rookie minis start. And we're going to talk extensively about those guys that they signed and what they bring to the table and who has a legitimate shot at making the roster. And I told you I see all of your comments. So just to clean up something from my last show, I usually use Hogs Haven. Like, you know, when we were going through the top 30 visits, like they're a very reliable source. They do a really good job of accumulating any and everything Commanders related and getting it into one space, right? So I went to them because that's my go-to for anything Commanders related where there's a list involved. And the site wouldn't upload for some reason. It was like it was overloaded, it was frozen, whatever. And it was time sensitive. I had to go. I didn't have time to be waiting on it. So I kept refreshing. Nothing kept happening. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to have to use something else. So I ended up using PFF. I hate PFF. I hate PFF with a passion. And of course, they shitted on me, right? I get the list from them. It's like 3 or 4 guys short. And people were like, how did you leave this guy off the list? I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't know, right? The last time I saw the list, it looked like this. So I didn't know we had signed more guys. But if I would, you know, gotten it off of Hogs Haven, I would have. But again, it wasn't working. So that's my fault. I should have been a little bit more patient and waited for the site to maybe, I don't know how long it was going to take. But there are some other names, including one that is very intriguing. So when we get to the list of UDFAs, I am definitely going to break them down and tell you some guys that are going to have an opportunity to make this roster. I don't think anything changes even with the list, with the extra guys that I didn't have on the initial list in terms of who has a chance to make the roster. But I do think that there are guys that have some sticking power, meaning, hey, we would love to have you back on the practice squad and have them around, right? I think they realize, and there's extra emphasis being put on it. And you can tell me if you're feeling this or if I'm wrong. They brought in a UDFA who is a return man. Like, that's his thing, out of UCLA. And I told y'all there's a tie to UCLA with Adam Peters. Like, you can't deny it, you can't dismiss it. Like, to me, Kaz Allen, there was no reason to keep him around, except I think our general manager saw him at UCLA and said, no, this dude's talented. We should try to explore and see if this guy can convert the running back or if he can be a return man for us of some sort. They could have probably given up on Kaz Allen a while ago, but they didn't. He's gone now, though. I can't see any way in hell they keep him around this year. They're bringing in stuff that's going to replace him, including the other guy that they got from UCLA that we'll talk about the next time. So anyway, I digress. I may put videos out individually. I may just do them all at once. We'll see. I'll see how the weekend goes. You know, I'll be all over the place. If anything of note happens, you know, you'll see this face in your space. But more likely than not, I'll probably let the weekend breathe, come back on the other side of the weekend, and then hit the ground running. But if I get some time, I may jump on and I may, you know, explore some of the UDFAs and maybe put out a video with them individually because, as I've told you, I think there are two guys in particular that have a legitimate shot to make this roster, but they're going to have to earn it. Nothing will be given to them. They're going to have to earn it. It's not quite like last year where the thing was extremely wide open, right? Because they were literally in the infant stages of blowing this whole thing up and building it from the ground up. This is a little bit different. Now they've got a foundation. They're a lot closer to winning in their minds than they were a season ago. So if it's between a young guy and a veteran, they may choose the veteran, right? If it's close. But another thing that's interesting, and we'll bring this up the next time we talk, is how much they pay for this, how much they paid for the UDFA. That's very important because it speaks to competition, but it also speaks to how badly they wanted them. The more you pay, the more you guarantee a UDFA, the more you wanted that guy in your program. And that matters too. That matters too. So, and again, it's not like they're guaranteeing somebody $4 million, right? It's 200 and something. It's 200 and something K. Still, nobody wants to throw away 200 and something K, right? So again, if at all possible, you pay a guy that much, you want to keep him. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I digress. So again, make sure if you have something to say about what you're most excited to see, what you're most anxious to see, whatever that sounds like, whatever that looks like for you, leave it down in the comment section because we're going to be starting a new series here called Louie in the comment section. So make sure, or Louie in the comments. I'll figure out if it's going to be comment section or comments, but either way, we're going to be doing that. And I'll be taking some of the best comments, some of the most thought-provoking comments, some of the comments that either I vehemently disagree with and we need to have a discourse about it, or I agree with you and I'm like, yeah, this is a great point, or something that I may not have even thought about that you bring to the table. And I'm like, huh. Or you heard it somewhere else and I didn't. And I'm like, you know what? That deserves to be talked about. So again, I urge you guys to comment in the comment section of videos, right? Whatever's on your mind. It can have nothing to do with the actual topic of that particular video, but if it's on your mind and it's Commanders related and you want to say it in the comment section, and if I see it and it's thought-provoking or it demands discourse, we may talk about it. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the Command Post Live on this beautiful, gorgeous Friday afternoon. Get outside, touch some grass. What are you guys doing? Go live a little. I'll see you guys later on, either this weekend or on the other side of the weekend on Monday. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the playoff basketball, the playoff hockey, regular season baseball, whatever tickles your fancy. Cinco de Mayo boxing, Canelo's fighting, whatever is your speed, do you. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.